Part 2 of the novel follows Mr. De Winter's vain efforts to make her own impression at Manderley. She's called to visit many of Maxim's acquaintances and feels they are all comparing her to Rebecca. Devastated by her constant feeling of inferiority, she goes to Frank to learn more of Rebecca and finds she was full of wit, beauty, and popularity, all qualities lacking in the current Mrs. De Winter. After this, the narrator becomes oppressed by what she feels is Rebecca's influence. She grows more ashamed of how she lives and who she is. She reaches a low point during her fight with her husband and realizes just how toxic their marriage has been for the both of them. While Maxim goes on a trip to London, she explores the West Wing to find Miss Danvers there with an unofficial guest, Jack Favell, Rebecca's cousin. She decides to keep his visit a secret, and when Maxim returns, he's enraged. However, any possible arguments are disbanded when it is decided that Manderley will be hosting its annual costume ball. The ball preparations give life back into Manderley and the narrator as well. At the suggestion of Mrs. Danvers, Mrs. De Winter dresses as Caroline De Winter, Maxim's ancestor. However, once the costume is unveiled, everyone is shocked and afraid. We then learn that it is the same costume Rebecca wore the year before, and Maxim, supposedly grieving, was insulted at what he believed to be a sick joke. The morning after, Mrs. De Winter can't find Maxim, and, assuming their marriage is over, hides in the West Wing. She finds Mrs. Danvers there, once again, and after a chill-inducing talk, the two women stand at the window, while Mrs. De Winter gets ready to jump off the terrace. Mrs. Danvers coaxes her, saying that Maxim doesn't love her and she'd be better off dead. Part 2 ends with an explosion, and both women are called to assist a ship that is washed up on the bay.